Hi, welcome to Board Game Opinions at the Mind Sports Olympiad. I'm Steve Raine.
I'm Ankush, Khandelwal.
And we are commenting on the final table of the Carcassonne Championships at the event in London 2017. Ankush, can you introduce the players we've got at our table?
Sure. So, with the green pieces, we have Florian Jamain, a French abstract strategy games expert. With the red pieces, we have Dixon. He is a top Eurogames player. And with the yellow pieces, we have the strong junior Kelda.
Okay, and this is the final round of the Swiss. This is table one, so we imagine that the person who wins this game will win the event?
That's correct.
Okay. Did you play in the event yourself this year, Ankush?
I don't think I played the Carcassonne this time around, no. I was playing a different tournament.
Okay. So in Carcassonne, you're basically building, like, if you've ever been to Carcassonne in France, there are these higgledy-piggledy kind of castle-shaped places, and on your turn you basically take a tile, as Mike's doing here, and you place it on the board legally. So roads have to connect to roads, grass has to connect to grass, and cities have to connect to other cities without kind of getting anything that doesn't fit right, as you can't have like a city touching grassland and stuff unless it's got a board on it. And you've got the option of, when you place a piece down, to also place one of your meeples down. You have, I believe, is it 7 meeples that you can put on the board to try and score you points, and you can put a meeple in one of 4 places. You can see that Florian has put a meeple in a city, so if that city ever gets completed, Florian will score some points for it. You can also put meeples on roads. They act as robbers, and if the road gets completed, you score points. You can put meeples on cathedrals, and if, you know, the same sort of thing there. If that is that cathedral's completed or surrounded, you'll score points. And you can do what Mike's done here, and you can put a meeple flat on its back on the grass as a farmer, and they all score points in different ways.
That is a very aggressive move by Mike, because it's the first turn of the game for him, and he's already put one of his meeples down as a farmer, and that meeple's going to stay there for the rest of the game. So there might come a time in the future where he's going to be short on meeples. So this is like a very aggressive move, especially in a 3-player game. We'll see if it works out.
He's done that because there's already a completed city, so that meeple, if he controls that farm at the end, will get him 3 points.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's hoping that he can connect it to the city that Florian's building and connect that as well.
And the other cities that I'm sure will appear on the board too.
So farmers score 3 points at the end of the game for every completed city that their farmland is touching. So like Ankush said, you don't get your farmer back throughout the game, so Mike has only got 6 meeples to play the rest of the game with. All the other objects you build, the cities, the roads and the cathedrals, you'll get those meeples back after they're completed. So in your experience, Ankush, then, is there a lot of fighting over various objects? Because you can actually try and take cities and roads and things off other people, can't you?
Yeah, fighting definitely happens, but I'd say what's more common is cooperation, like trying to work together with someone to build up a city. But then someone might snipe you after like you've both put work in to build that city. That's a very common part of Carcassonne. What generally happens though is if 2 people are working together on a city, and they both cooperate, they'll both go ahead, leaving the other player slightly behind. So I think cooperation is definitely like a strong strategy to go for.
So for example, if green and yellow can join their 2 bits up, they'll start to make one quite big city.
Yes, although these cities are quite far apart right now, so maybe it won't happen.
So Mike's already got a road of 4 that has a completed end as well. And we can see that Kelda is trying to join in on the farming action. She's put a farm on a very small piece of grass with the intention, I hope, of joining up to other things later on. Because when I play with my friends, I often try and get an early farmer down where I think the biggest piece of grass is going to be.
But Steve, do you usually play 4-player or 3-player?
I usually play 4-player, I guess.
Okay, so in 4-player I think going more aggressive on farmers is a much more viable strategy because you get fewer turns throughout the whole game.
Yeah. And I believe they've all now got a farmer down, and it looks like that Kelda's field will join up with Florian's field, I think. I'm not sure there's a piece that can go there that will break them up.
I agree.
So in Carcassonne, you're allowed to know the pieces as well, aren't you? You don't have to memorise them.
I know. In the tournament, if you wish, you can look at the sheet, which tells you all the different types of pieces and the frequency of each of them.
Because part of the skill is if you're trying to stop someone completing their big city or their big road or something like that, so that they can get their meeple back and score lots of points, is you're trying to put pieces around that city so that there is no viable piece left in the game that will fit there. So you can either learn what the pieces are, or you can use the crib sheet that you get in the ice game. We've got a little demo of it now, so we can have a look and help us as we're going through. So we've seen the first monastery. I think Mike has got his red meeple on a monastery. It's also extended his farmland as well, so he is now connected to Florian's city at the right hand side there. And what Kelda's done there is she has put a second meeple down in a city that she possibly hopes to join up, and she can now try and take the city of Florian. Because Florian tried to join his city up with Kelda's initially, and now he's got to worry about that he could lose his city on the left hand side there.
That could happen, although Kelda would require 2 moves for that joining process to happen, so it's far away, but she might be threatening that.
But before she put that piece down that she's just put, Florian might have happily joined up those cities.
That's true.
Now he won't.
You're right.
How would you rate this in terms of skill difficulties as to some of the other Euro games played at the Olympiad?
I would say it's on the slightly lighter side. There are definitely much heavier games around, like Terra Mystica, Agricola, but I think there's still a large amount of skill in this game. I think it's best played heads up, where that means 1v1. I think that's when the skill to luck ratio is at its highest.
Is that because in a 3-player game, for example, you and I could team up, build a big city, score lots of points, and the third person just be left out?
Definitely, Steve. But I think that's an issue with lots of multiplayer games. There's that kingmaker issue, or just this cooperation that sometimes goes against you and you can't really control.
Does that mean that's only in games with a medium amount of player interaction? So like Settlers of Catan, where you can actually directly trade with people.
Sure.
Here you can directly work together or try and do people in.
But I think that's very common in Euro games, the player interaction.
I've often found it's a criticism of Euro games that some Euro games just don't have any player interaction.
Sure.
So at the moment, no one's actually got one of their meeples back. No one's scored any points, but Mike and Florian look like they might end up sharing the same road. Florian tried to piggyback off Mike's road if he can join them up. And I can't see the piece that Florian's got at the moment, but he's thinking long and hard about it. Florian's also close to completing a city on the right hand side there. If you complete a city, if a city's completed and it's got more than 2 tiles in it, it gets twice as many points. So normally a city will score 1 point per tile, but if it's at least 3 tiles big and it's complete, it will score 2 points per tile, plus 2 points per shield as well. So you get some of the city pieces of shields in, and towards the end of the game when you're close to completing your really big cities, those shield pieces can be quite valuable. The other 2 ways of scoring, the cathedrals, the monasteries as such, they will score when they're completely surrounded. So the monastery that Mike's got at the bottom there has currently got 4 tiles surrounding it. If he gets another 4, in total will be 9 tiles, the monastery and the 8 surrounding it, and that will get him 9 points. At the end of the game, uncompleted things are worth points as well, so uncompleted roads and monasteries and cities are worth points. But at the end of the game, if the city's not completed, it won't score the double. So it's really important to try and complete your cities, whereas it's not necessarily the same to try and complete your roads, apart from just to try and get your meeples back. Because every time you get a meeple back, it allows you to get more points to score later on.
Mike's just made this very interesting move, trying to get in on Florian's city. So if there's a piece that connects those 2 cities up, then we could even have this big 3-way merger if Kelda's city gets involved too.
We can see Florian has joined up their road, so Florian and Mike will score for the same road, assuming that they're not going to snipe each other and take it off one another later on. But at the moment, that road is worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's worth 7 points to each of them, and Kelda's going to lose out. Mike has a second monastery, and it's a great idea. Monasteries placed next to other monasteries, they kind of help each other to get completed.
monasteries are very high scoring tiles too. If you complete a monastery, it's going to be worth 9 points, which is like it's a lot of points for just one meeple.
Yeah, and to complete a road for 9 points, you need 9 road pieces, but to complete a monastery for 9 points, you actually only need 1 monastery bit and then 8 other things. It's much easier to complete a monastery than a road for the same amount of points.
Because you can place it on somewhere where it's already partially or like almost completely completed.
So Kelda and Florian should be actively avoiding placing down near the bottom there, because that will help Mike's monasteries.
That's right.
So another strategy is often a good thing to have. It's always good to have at least 1 meeple back, because if you haven't got a meeple, you know when you get those half city pieces which can join it with another half city to score points. If you don't have a meeple in your supply, you can't actually gain from that.
Yeah, if you run out of meeples, then you're going to lose lots of profitable point scoring opportunities, which is why Mike's turn 1 move was surprising. But he's still got 2 meeples left, so let's see how he handles it.
I think everyone's put a meeple down on every tile so far, haven't they? So there's been no tile that's just been left by itself. Is it always important to have a road as well? So often, sometimes if you've got a lot of meeples out, but you haven't got a meeple on a road or a city or something, if you draw that city piece, it's always nice to just add it to one you already have.
You mean on a road?
So, well, just any piece. So basically, each of them have a road, a farm, and a city in their control. So if they run out of meeples and they draw a city tile, at least they can add it to a city they've already got.
I mean, that's a good insurance plan, but I would recommend not running out of meeples in the first place.
Yeah. So here is a chance for Mike to join up the city if he wants to do that. He has a 3-sided city piece with a road sticking out, and he can join that up to Florian's city. The danger, as you said before, is that if Kelda comes along and joins up, she's actually got 2 potential meeples to join up and take that city off them, although it's going to be a long time in making.
I think Mike's already committed to this strategy by placing his meeple on the earlier city. There's no other move he could really make. So I think he will go ahead and do that. And
if Mike joins them up, then Florian and Mike will try and actively stop Kelda joining up with them, won't they?
Yes.
And that's 2 people to kind of work on the same city. Effectively, in fact, Mike could do that, not draw another city piece for the rest of the game, and Florian could just keep adding to Mike's points.
Yes.
So why do you think Mike's taking so long to join it up then? Do you think he's dedicated to this strategy already?
I mean, he's already partially committed to it, but he might be worried about Kelda overtaking it in the long run.
The other possibility is he could put that at the end of his road
and get a meeple back.
That's a good idea. Put a meeple down on that city piece and try and join it with Florian's other city, maybe.
That's a very strong candidate move too.
Because with tiles like the one that Mike's got now, there's actually, in some game states, it's actually a really hard tile to place. Because a lot of the time you have spare grass. There's grass around the edge of the board quite a lot of the time. But that tile hasn't got any grass, so often you find that particular tile is actually quite hard to place sometimes. There's also one tile in the bag which is a full city space, so it's got city sides in all 4. And if you get that late on in the game and you can't place it in your city, you've actually got to profitably help someone else sometimes. Okay, so Florian and Mike now have a 4-space city on the left-hand side there. I believe it's got 1 shield in as well. And we didn't mention it earlier, but Kelda and Florian's farm have joined up. So at the moment, Kelda and Florian have the same farmland. So at the end of the game, if nothing changes, they will share that farmland, although that farmland's currently producing no points. And you'll see that now all 3 of them have the same city. Kelda has joined up the city. She's obviously the intention to try and steal it off someone.
But even if she doesn't steal it, she's still going to share it right now. So that's okay.
So, well, at the moment, no one's actively going to complete that city, though, are they?
No.
No one's going to put energies into doing it. They are going to try and put energies into stopping Kelda joining it up. Although there aren't many tiles now that you can join them up with, because she would need a 3 city space at least tile to give her a chance of joining them up.
Yes.
Florian's got a cathedral of his own. he has the option of adding it to the end of his road to get his meeple back, but Mike would get his back as well, or putting in the gap to the top right, because that's already got 3 tiles next to it. As yet, no one's scored any points. They're all running out of meeples though. In fact, Florian's only got 1 left, so possibly finishing off his road and getting a meeple back might be a strong move.
That looks like a good idea. That's what he's going to go for.
It also stops someone trying to leech off his city that he's got.
Yes.
Do they not score? Is that no road not finished?
It is.
Oh yeah, Kelda's spotted it. So that road's finished, so red and green will score 2, 4, 6, 8 points each.
That's what it looks like. Yep.
And also, when Florian starts completing his city on the right hand side, he will also benefit the cathedral he's got there too. So Mike's got an interesting piece. He has the opportunity of adding that to the bottom and trying to double up on this big city on the left hand side. If he adds it to the bottom, he would also be benefiting his cathedral there and threatening to put 2 people towards that large city on the left. So that large city's currently got 3 shields in.
I think he'll go for it. He's got 2 meeples in hand, so he'll still have a meeple spare. It looks like a good move to me.
Yeah. I mean, that city at the moment's worth 10 points.
Yeah.
That's incomplete. If it ever gets completed, which the bigger it gets, the less likely it's actually going to finish the game completed. Yeah. I'd take bets now that that big city on the left doesn't get completed by the end of the game, I think.
The huge cities rarely do.
But that huge city's still worth 10 points.
It's worth a lot of points, yes.
Yeah. And if Mike can kind of get his meeple on the bottom to join up with it, he will take that 10, or what would be 12 points to himself. So Kelda quickly drew a road and placed it. Roads are probably the weakest pieces to get in the game. If you
Definitely, they're the lowest value pieces.
If you continually draw roads as you're playing, you probably won't score as many points as the other people in the game. Is that true?
I would definitely agree with that.
And we've all got 2 meeples spare.
Florian also drew a road and he doesn't seem particularly pleased about it. It looks like Mike's got a piece that might connect his... No, it won't. This piece won't.
This will not, no, but it will be able to end... Be able to end a city.
But he's not in it on any other cities right now.
He could place it at the top to just guarantee Kelda can't join them up.
He could, but then that would also complete Kelda's city for her.
It would not. He would place it, if you place it in the city Mike is currently in.
Oh, okay.
It will block Kelda from joining in on it, and it currently adds 1 more point to the city, and if Mike can join that city up, it will be a point that only Mike will get.
That's true.
He's going to do that, yeah. So Kelda's unlikely to join up her city at the top with the big city. That big city is now worth 11 points as it stands. It's got 8 tiles in it, 3 shields. If Mike can join up his city at the bottom to it.
Florian was just pointing out that if he'd drawn that tile, he would have placed it in the bottom left to block Mike.
As would Kelda.
Yes.
So yeah, that was lucky that Mike drew that in that particular case. Because if the other 2 had drawn it, they would have stopped Mike's plan. Towards the course of the game will end when all the tiles are out, so every tile will get played. So if you're waiting for a particular tile, knowing it's still left to draw, you can be at the mercy of luck, really, as to who draws it. Obviously, that tile benefits Mike and hinders Mike if someone else draws it. So the fact that Mike got to draw it is like a 1 to 3 chance.
Yes.
A 1 to 2 chance, apologies.
Well, yeah, 2 to 1 against. 1 in 3.
And again, Kelda drew another road, so if you're just drawing road after road after road, there's very little you can do. At least Kelda's adding to a road she currently has. If she can get like a cathedral to go near the top, there's some good spaces for it, but otherwise She's had 2 meeples in hand for quite a while, not being able to place them out on anything useful.
That's the one part I find quite frustrating about this game. There's a lot of tile drawing variants involved. You can just get unlucky by which tiles you draw.
You were mentioning before we started that there is alternate rules, the way you can have several tiles in hand before your turn.
So yeah, I think some tournaments they have you can have a hand of 3 tiles and you get to pick one out of the 3 to play. So I think that's got a lot more like skill and strategy towards it because you have a lot more options. In this tournament, it's draw 1 tile, play 1 tile, which means you're forced to play the tile you've drawn, and you just have much limited maneuverability.
But the original is kind of what makes it such an accessible game for everyone. Like you yourself said, that Ankush has actually won this event twice before, but when he first played it, he said he didn't really know the game that well, and you were able to go on and play it because it's easy to understand and you can...
Yes, I'd say that the rules aren't so difficult. It's on the lighter side of Eurogames, and especially if you're allowed to look at the sheet during the tournament, you can sort of figure it out as you go along. Whereas many other games require a lot of expertise to really compete. Yeah,
like Terra Mystic you mentioned earlier takes, you know, game after game after game just to even get competence at it.
Definitely.
So if I was interested in going to the Mind Sports Olympiad next year, what kind of criteria do I have to meet to enter?
The Mind Sports Olympiad is open to anyone who likes games and wants to come along is welcome to play. There are tournaments like this where it's catered towards both competitive players who want to test themselves against the best players in England and the world, or there's also, but it's also open to just casual players if you want to have a bit of fun and just play Carcassonne. There's like a wide variety of people there. And if you don't fancy playing a tournament, we have a free learn to play games room, so you can come along and just try out some new games in a casual setting. It's really whatever you want.
One thing we've missed since we've been doing this is that I believe all 3 farms are now connected. So as it stands, they're sharing the same farm, the same big farm. That farm's currently only worth 3 points, but I believe Florian's got 2 little cities on the right hand side that he's likely to complete as the game goes on. Which means that farmland will be worth 9, we think. So would this be a point where, I mean, Mike can try and put a farmer on this tile and try and steal a farm off someone? Do you think that's the thing he's going to do?
He's got 2 meeples, so...
Oh, okay. Oh, you think putting a farm down now is just too soon, too committal?
Maybe, but he's somewhat close to finishing his cathedrals, so there's a chance he'll get those back.
Kelda, I think that's like the 3rd or 4th road she's drawn in a row there.
She's really not had many options.
And she's been cut off from trying to steal the big city. Although Mike's, you know, like Ankush said, so kind of draw the tile you want is a look at the draw thing. And Mike's just desperately looking for a tile to join his small city at the bottom to the big city that they all share. If he can get that tile, you'd think the game would swing heavily in his favour. But like Ankush said, if he had a hand of 3 cards, maybe that would be a more frequent occurrence for him to draw the tile he needs.
It would, but then also the other players would have the opportunity, a more frequent chance to block that tile or play the blocking tile that Florian wanted, but Mike drew. So,
which is your preferred version then? Do you prefer this, or do you prefer that scope of having a choice in your hand?
I wouldn't really call myself a Carcassonne expert, so I couldn't really comment. I'd say it's definitely a much higher skill game with more cards in your hand, or more tiles in your hands, and the choice. Looks like Florian's entered the mix here too, with his last meeple.
Okay,
he's trying to get in on this big
risky?
City. It's very risky. He feels like the game's probably not going according to plan for him, and this is like an all-in move, really. I'm not sure if I agree with it, but maybe it makes sense for him in the tournament position. This is the final table. If you want the gold medal, you have to go for the win. That's what he's gone for.
So in terms of Florian trying to get a meeple back, there's not too many clear-cut opportunities for him to do that. He can complete either of the 2 cities on the right-hand side. The one on the top one of those 2 is a bit harder to complete because you need a specific tile to join them up.
Yeah.
But the one on the bottom is quite easy to complete if you just draw a single end of a city. But aside from that, the only other way he's got of getting a meeple back is he's got a loop of road in the top middle there. So you would just need a road that goes from the bottom to the left.
Yeah, so it seems very dangerous for him to go for that. And meanwhile, Mike has just drawn his third cathedral, so he's looking to be in good shape. Yeah. Sorry, carry on, Steve.
Having so many cathedrals in a group there is just beneficial. Every tile he adds to that group gets him 3 points effectively. And now if Florian does complete his city, we'll also be giving Mike a meeple back.
True. But also Mike's run out of meeples too.
But do you think Mike's got more chance of getting one of those meeples back? Do you think?
Definitely.
Kelda's completed a small city at the top. It was worth 8 points. It's got 3 points because it was 3 tiles in the city and the shield. And because it was finished, it was doubled up. So 3 tiles plus a shield is 4. Can Kelda add that there? Oh, yes, you can, yeah. So it looks like though there is a gap between the cities, but there isn't. So Kelda has added a piece of farmland there. And Mike has managed to get the tile that gets him a meeple back.
The Florian did, yes.
Apologies, Florian. So Kelda, if the other two aren't aware, Kelda can actually sneak the farmland off them. She needs a tile to the top of the farm she's just placed that has some grass on it, and then if she does that, she will take the farmland off them. And that farmland is currently worth only 6 points, but it's 6 points she'll get that they won't.
Right now it's worth 6 points, but maybe by the end of the game it could be worth...
Yeah. Because Florian would hope to complete the 2 cities in on the right hand side of the board, as would Mike, the one he's in, and so either of those cases they're adding 3 points to Kelda if she can manage to connect the farm up.
And Mike has run out of meeples. He wouldn't be able to retaliate with his own farmer.
But he's very close to getting meeples back from his cathedrals. He's only 1 space away now
from getting
just 1 back. Yeah. But he's those meeples are currently worth 8 plus 7 plus 4 points. So they're worth 19 points as it stands, which is pretty high scoring. You can get up to 27 though if you can completely surround them. Kelda's still got 2 meeples, so although it might look like she's in a strong position, the fact that she hasn't been able to place at least one of those down has actually hindered her. She's got fewer points on the board as such, because she drew those 3 or 4 roads in a row. So if Florian had a road, he could have used that to add or end his road, but because he hasn't, he's only got 1 meeple left, he wasn't able to add to his score there. What he was able to do is put 1 more tile around his cathedral, so hopefully he can eventually get that cathedral scoring 9 points and a meeple back.
Mike also doesn't have a road, a meeple on a road tile, but he's just drawn the crossroads, so...
He can't use that to put anywhere near his cathedrals either.
No.
So he's going to try and do it in such a way to either hurt other people or...
block other people
off. The person who could block off is Florian in that city in the top right, but that would also block himself off. If Mike had a meeple, placing it there would have scored him 2 points. He would have been able to put his meeple down on the road that was immediately completed and get his meeple straight back. So at the start of the game when we said having meeples in hand is really good, if Mike had a meeple in hand there, he could have scored himself 2 points. Now, Florian has taken control of that city. Florian now has 2 people in. That city's worth quite a few points at the moment.
But it just looks like Mike's also drawn a tile that will...
join up with that. So they're laughing about it now, yeah. They've both drawn the tile they've been wanting for a while. That city's currently worth 14 points. It's got 10 hexes and 4 shields in it. If Mike places that there, that's also got a shield, 15, 16, 17, 18. It would be worth 18 points that Mike and Florian would share between them. It's unlikely now it's going to get completed. There's just so many ends that need meeting, and Kelda will do her best to try and stop it getting completed by putting tiles there in such a way that they will find it hard to find tiles to fit in the gaps. But each of them getting 16 points or so from that city. 18, was it 16 or was it 18 points, wasn't it? Oh, no, she's trying to sneak back in it, but she's going to need at least 2 tiles to do so. And in terms of tiles that have 3 city borders, I'm not sure how many are left, to be honest. This is where the sheet's good. I believe there are none left. So I think they're all gone.
Okay. So maybe that was
a
mistake.
So that was a mistake. I mean, it doesn't look like any of them have access to what tiles remain in the bag. Was it? They're free to get the rule book out of the box, are they?
Yes.
And do that. So there are 3 tiles with. Oh, apologies. Now I missed these 2 out. So there are 4 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 1 tile left that will give her a 3 city square.
But then she'll also need another tile on top of that.
To get there, yeah.
It's not a high probability play, but maybe she feels she needs to do that to go for the win. And now Florian's gone for the re-snipe.
Yeah, and this is the advantage that Florian had a meeple and Mike didn't, so Mike can't now do it again, I think. So he's just putting it there. Now, if Mike can get 1 more tile, he will get 2 of his cathedrals completed.
Again, here, if he had a meeple, he would have scored 3 points. 4 points for that.
It would be 2 points. Cities are only 2 tiles, don't double.
Okay.
But still, yeah, like Ankush is saying, just having that spare meeple has cost Mike 4 points. The last 2 turns he would have been able to score a road with 2 squares and a city with 2 squares on. So now Mike really wants to be the person to get that last big city tile, just so that Kelda can't join up and so that he can take it off Florian. Is it worth now putting this road to the bottom left? If you put it to the very bottom left that you can do it?
Yes, to block Florian.
To block Florian putting a tile there.
Definitely. I'm certain he'll do that.
Yeah, so this doesn't benefit Mike. Mike hasn't got a person down. He can't add a knight to a road. Robber to a road. But if he puts it at the very bottom on the left, as far left as he can go on the bottom, which he has done, he's making it harder for Florian to find a tile to join him up that city and take control of it. Okay, Kelda found 1 of the 2 tiles she needs. She now needs the last remaining 3-sided city space to try and take a share of this city that's going to be worth probably over 20 points by the end of the game, if she manages to join it up. So this is where your knowledge of the pieces can count. Florian has to work out, well, has the opportunity to work out whether there is a tile left to go in that bottom spot, just so that he can join his city up. I believe it would have to be one of these 2, wouldn't it? That would do it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And we don't know how many of those are left in the game. If we could have a quick count on the board. I believe there are still some left in the game, where you're looking for like a half city space and then a road joining it. But then he also needs to draw it as well. Who do you think's in the best place then, looking at the board as it stands?
I think Mike's in a very strong position.
Is that because of his cathedrals?
His cathedrals, and right now he still does have.
Oh, he's now now he's in such a good space. He's just got himself 18 points and 2 meeples back.
Nice.
Yeah. So the fact that he's got 2 meeples in hand and Florian hasn't got any means Florian's probably struggling a bit.
Yes.
He's put a lot of his eggs in one basket, trying to join that city up.
Yes. Although maybe that's the right play. It's worth so much.
Yeah.
He needs to go for the win for the gold.
Mm. I wonder if they've noticed that Kelda has stolen the farmland off them. Do you think it's something they will have noticed?
I think so.
Well, she hasn't yet, though. Has she?
She will. She needs 1 more tile.
With grass on it, yeah.
Yes.
So they'll have noticed the possibility, but they won't know. You won't. Yeah. Okay. So now Mike's got a tile, but he's got meeples for the first time in about 4 turns. He's got meeples to actually put down on this now. So he's going to do the trick we talked about earlier. He had a meeple when he completed that city, so he's effectively put the meeple down on the city was instant completed, and he picks the meeple up straight away and scores himself 2 points. So Mike's taken the lead then. Who do you think's in the best place after that?
I think definitely Mike, after he got his 2 meeples back.
So after Mike, in second place, you'd consider, currently it's Florian.
Yes.
And he's also got a share of that big city, whereas Kelda hasn't.
And he could overtake it as well. If he gets the piece in the bottom, he would jump into the lead.
And if Kelda managed to share the city, you think Kelda would take second place?
Definitely.
Okay. She's also got this potential farmland. Now that farm on the top left that she's got is coming with 6 points, but if she can join it up to the other farmland, she'd take off points off the other 2, wouldn't she? There are currently 4 completed cities touching that farmland. So that farmland itself is worth 12 points.
Now Florian's just made a move to block Kelda trying to take that farm over.
And Florian's just said, come on, because Mike has drawn the one piece that Florian was needed, the one piece that Florian's waiting for. Always seems to happen that way, that the person before or after you draws the one tile you've been waiting for. I believe there's still more of those tiles left in the bag from what we've seen. But if Florian got that, he'd be able to take that city all for himself. Not sure where he placed this. I wonder if he placed it towards the bottom so that he can try and get his last cathedral back. Although in doing so, it actually makes the tile above it harder to place, doesn't it?
There doesn't seem to be a clear best spot to place this, or at least not any attractive spots.
Could he add it to that road on the right hand side that's already 3 long? Because he's still got 2 meeples left. He could put one of those down on a road.
That's a strong candidate.
Well, we haven't really talked about it. Kelda's got an extremely long road at the top, hasn't she? She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If she joins it up, 8, 9, 10. You'll notice that Florian is looking at the crib sheet that we've got here. He's just trying to count how many more tiles will fit in that spot at the bottom that he really needs. I think Mike could probably put it on the city here. Yes, he has done. Are the games timed?
The Carcassonne is not timed.
And you mentioned earlier about a no strategy talk policy. So basically they're not allowed to try and coerce other people into doing the third person in.
Yeah, that's right. So in some tournaments, you're not really allowed to discuss or have table talk about who to screw over or not. But in some games, they're just allowed. It's really dependent. I think in Carcassonne, it's not allowed.
Everyone at the table needs to be aware of potential strategies for doing people in, and it shouldn't be up to someone else to tell you what to do on your turn.
Right.
Kelda's actually got a city at the top that's going to score a few points if she can finish it off as well.
She just have a lot of points there on the board.
Yeah. But she's still got meeples in hand. She's never run out of meeples this game, and that's because she has possibly drawn the tile she needed every time.
Exactly. Maybe she'll get lucky at the end. She could draw that crucial piece.
Well, she's still got the opportunity to join up the city, so all 3 of them would share it. She's still got the opportunity to steal the farmland off them. Although Florian has now put that there to inhibit that. There is now only 1 type of tile left in the game that Kelda can put in that space. It is a city tile that goes from north to west, with no road on it. And there are only 5 in the game at the start of the game, and I can see at least 2 or 3 already out, so whether she actually picks one of those up, we'll see. How much do you think any of them have been hindered by this early farmer strategy then? Because Mike's very first move, you were surprised that you put a farmer down.
I'm not sure if it's really worked out for him because he's lost some profitable opportunities. He's been, I'd say, a bit fortunate that he's got his meeples back from his cathedrals, although he's played well to make that happen.
He's been the only person putting those tiles around the cathedrals generally, hasn't he? So
yes.
It's all his doing.
But he needed to, it was only worthwhile because he drew 3 cathedrals himself.
So Mike can put this down to score himself 4 points, I believe. He can play it down and immediately put his meeple on and take it back for 4 points. I wonder what he's thinking about, because that would be my initial choice. He has the opportunity actually of putting it next to his cathedral in such a way that there is no tile that Florian can complete his city with. Which he's chosen to do that. So he sacrificed him ever getting his meeple from his cathedral back, because I believe now there's no tile in the game that will allow Florian to complete that city.
And he also takes 2 points for the road.
Yeah, he gets 2 points for the road, gets his meeple back, and he does Florian in a bit. Oh, so Kelda's completed that city top, which actually scores quite a few points. It's got 3 shields in and about 6 tiles, so that's going to be worth 18 points, I think. And now she's got a meeple in hand. I think she's still got 2, hasn't she? Yeah, she's still got 2.
There's 5 on the board, so yeah, she's got 2.
So it's looking bad for Florian now. He can't complete that city on the right-hand side that Mike's just done him in over. There's no tile that will go there, which means he also can't get his meeple back for the cathedral he's got above that space. If he completes a city just above that, he will benefit Mike, and there's only one type of tile he will get to steal the big city. So unless Florian can steal that big city off the other 2, it looks like Florian's in a bad position. He doesn't have a meeple, so he doesn't even get to score that road. That road would have been 5 points. What was Mike saying? He says that you can't play against the edge.
I think that what he's saying is that the table, you can't move the tiles to create space on the table.
So you now can't play above. You can't play above the tile nearest to Florian.
I think so.
Okay.
I think that rule is very silly, in my opinion, but it's not a strategic rule. It's like space limited because of the size of the table. It doesn't make any sense to me. But
Well, it does also look like the original starting tile was slightly towards the south of the table as well.
yeah.
So Mike still had a meeple there. Why didn't he put that meeple on a road? He thinks he's going to have more profitable solutions because there's not many tiles left. There's about 10 tiles left maybe.
Yeah, so that'll be like 3 or 4 more turns. So that's probably what he thinks. That was a bit of interesting placement.
Yeah. So it looks like Mike's in a really strong position then. He still hasn't lost his farmland. He still hasn't lost the big city. He's got the most points currently, and he's got quite a few points left on the board, hasn't he? So what Kelda really needs to do is either join up to the big city or connect her farmland. And what Florian needs to do, I think the only out he's got is to join up the big city to take it off them.
Yes. But that would be a huge swing.
Yeah. Now, if Florian hadn't stopped Kelda with that awkward piece on the left-hand side of the board, Kelda could have used that to join the farmlands up.
That's true.
So good play from Florian there. Just gets a road, he's got no meeple, he can't really do much with it. If Kelda had drawn that, she'd have also been able to elongate her longest road by 3 squares. So what percentage of the time do you think the best player will win then? Because it does seem to be the look of the draw hinders you quite a lot.
That's a difficult question to answer. I mean, it depends who you're playing against.
Okay. And what the relative skill differences are.
Yes.
Yeah, so Florian's last 2 turns have been wasted. He hasn't got any meeples. He's just been drawing roads. In fact, they all seem to be drawing roads. But Mike's still got a meeple left, so Mike can actually add this to the road at the bottom left for 3 points. Or the road to the top left for 3 points as well.
Maybe he thinks that holding on to that last meeple is going to be worth more. He can always place it to get a farmer at some point, maybe.
He could do. So the other possibilities, you can try and place this on a road with some farmland. You could place it next to, at the very bottom where Florian's meeple is trying to get into the big city. And you could place it on the farm side of it, hoping to eventually join up to the big farmland, just so that Kelda can't take it off him, or he could take it off the other 2. I think that's probably what I'd do, actually. Because I think he's in a strong position. He's probably going to win if they can't take the city off him.
As like an insurance policy?
Yeah. Yeah, he hasn't even put his meeple down, so he's hoping to get better tiles. I haven't seen him studying the tile sheet, so I'm not sure if there's a specific tile he's waiting for.
I think he's very well versed with this game, so...
So Kelda gets another 2 points for the city she's completed. And if the city tile's only 2 tiles big, you don't get that double. So normally the city tile, as long as at least 3, you'll get double points for your cities. If you only get these little 2 cities, it's only worth 1. That's the one Kelda was waiting for. She's sighing in her hands. She knows now she can't get in on that big city because there's no way that Florian's going to place it where she wants it. And Florian said that Mike took the tile he wanted. So there's an indication of what we were talking about earlier, just the variance in what tile you draw. Had those tiles come out a different way, Mike would be in an awful position. He wouldn't have that big city on the left. They both, one of those 2 guys would have taken it off him. I don't think there's a real decent space that Florian can put it. Again, he's just got no meeples back. He's had his meeples stuck on the board for quite a while. Mike's done him in on the left, the right-hand side there. So Florian's 2 meeples are stuck for the rest of the game. At no point has Florian and Mike wanted to complete that city just above it.
Right. It was a good move by Mike earlier though to play the road to block the spot on the bottom.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Florian would have been able to play there. And it looks like Mike's just drawn his 4th cathedral of the game.
So that's one benefit from keeping. That he can place it at the top in where the L shape is for 6 points.
Yes.
Which is probably the best place he can put it. Yeah, that's probably where he's going to do. He's going to probably place it at the top worth 6 points. It's not going to extend anyone's farmland or anything like that. And with only probably, it looks like there's 5 or 6 tiles left in the game, he's probably not going to get a more profitable opportunity to use his last meeple. He's
definitely going to place his meeple on this. And I think he'll.
There's actually the 6 pointer where the U shape is as well. So he's got a choice where the L shape on the right or the U shape in the middle at the top.
Isn't that worth 7 points?
The U shape is worth 6. Oh, worth 7 points. You're right. It was worth 7. Yeah, that's probably where I was going to put it. So it's worth 7 points. He might even be able to finish it off, but finishing it off is probably irrelevant at this point. He's just going to get 7 or 8 points for that, depending whether he can get any more tiles around it.
I think he's only got 1 more turn, so
you can count 5 tiles there. It looks like there's 6, I think.
Oh, is there?
I think there's 2 in that pile.
Oh, yeah.
So Kelda gets another 2. Again, the advantage, I think Kelda's made use of the fact that she's always had spare meeples. She's always been able to get these little 2 to 4 point quick tiles. And Mike's just got another tile. Again, he could have used that to get a few cheap points, but he hasn't been able to do that because he ran out of meeples quite a while ago. He doesn't want to do that because that benefits someone else who can pop it on the city.
He's shaking his head here. He knows the game's gone away from him.
It looks like Mike's going to win by quite a way here, I think. So whether Kelda can join the farmland. I think Florian's still got one more chance to see if, I don't know if there's any of those tiles left that he needs in the bottom. I haven't counted that particular tile, but if there's one more of them left, he's got a 1 in 3 chance of maybe hitting one of those. But if he doesn't draw that, it's just over for him, I think. Mike will just use this to add to his cathedral at the top, I imagine. Yep, so that cathedral's now with 8 points. He's going to have one more go. What they haven't seen is that Kelda might be able to join up with the farmland round, or she's only got one more go, hasn't she? Is this a farmer here, Ankush, on the top right?
Yes, it is.
So if she's got a curvy bit of road, she can steal the farmland off them.
Oh, yes.
She's asking about farmers. I think she might have a curly bit of road, and if she has a curly bit of road...
I don't think it's connected, though. It's not connected with the rest of the...
If she puts it in that space there, this will come around and connect.
Oh,
I believe it will. Yeah, I believe she's now
that.
stolen... I didn't see that. Well done, Kelda.
Well played.
She was looking to get that particular tile, but she needed that tile or the tile to join that city up over there to steal the farmland. She's now actually going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That farm now is worth 15 points.
That's 15 points off Mike.
Yeah. It wasn't. Well, actually, it wasn't 15 points for Mike because Mike didn't have the top 2. It was 9 points for Mike, but she's taken 9 points off Mike and gained herself 15.
It looks like the game's ended.
How can the game end?
Because presumably...
Oh, it's equal turns.
Equal
turns.
So Florian must have gone first.
Yeah, they're just doing endgame scores.
So I think Mike's going to have won this, but Kelda could have stolen it on the last turn. Let's see.
Well, she's 15 points taken off 9. The fact that she doesn't have any stake in that big city is probably going to what's hurt her. And Florian's endgame points are equal by Mike's. The fact that Florian's got that big city, as does Mike, means that Florian can't actually gain on Mike there. So that city's worth 20 points. So Kelda was very unlucky she wasn't able to draw it, and Mike was Florian was unlucky not to steal it off Mike as well. Never drawing that tile he needed. Yeah, that cathedral that Mike got at the end might actually win him the game. This is going to be close because Kelda's still got 15 points to come. She's actually got more than that. She's got 21 points because she's got another separate farm on the left-hand side. That's worth 6 to her. Mike didn't even realise he was connected to the same farm. Oh wow, so this is going to be a surprise. I think it's not going to be enough though, it's 15 points I believe. Looks like final scores of 45 for Florian, 71 for Mike, and then Kelda's going to get 15, I think it's 15.
So that would put her up to 68, which means Mike would win by 3 points.
So that cathedral that Mike got near the end of the game was actually quite profitable for him. She won him the game.
As it happened, yes.
All right. And there we have it, the final of the Carcassonne at the World Mind Sports Olympiad 2017. Final scores, Florian Got 45 in third place. In second place is Kelda Smith on 68. And leading on 71 is Mike Dixon, who went on to win the event. Thanks for watching. I've been Steve.
I'm Ankush.
See you later.